Jack, I'm going to need you to get a soundbite of the Tarzan yell, and you're going to put it right here, and you're also going to cut this out. Okay? Okay? Wait, okay. Well, no, never mind. You know what? Fine. Fine. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Anyway, welcome. There we go. Thank you, Joe. Very cool. Welcome, everyone, to Background Noise. Oh, wait, no. Background Bites with
There we
that
go.
completely scripted moment right there that is definitely going to stay in no matter what happens. I am your host, Joseph.
I'm Jack.
And I'm Joe.
And today we are going to look at the final entry in the Disney Renaissance catalog. That is 2002, I'm sorry, 1999's, pardon me, 1999's Tarzan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2002. That's way out of its time.
Oh yeah, we were talking about post-Renaissance stuff, and it got me thinking about Atlantis and then Treasure Planet, which actually did come out in 2002. So it crossed a couple wires, but this is definitely not Atlantis. It is in fact on the land. So boom, there's that. Also, it's from 1999, so it is, I don't know, a little dated. It's not in terms of animation or quality. That rings true with the rest of the Disney Renaissance, and the fact that I think this movie looks really good. But we'll get into other things that maybe date it as a product of the '90s right now.
Are we going to start off with our usual plot recap?
Oh yeah. In fact, why don't you do that right now? I'm sorry.
Right, let's go.
I'm off my game.
All right, so we got a shipwreck, and the only survivors are mom, dad, and their infant son. And then they come ashore. They build a little hut, and it's like, oh, this is going to be a nice little family drama. And then the parents get eaten by a leopard. But fortunately, there is a mama gorilla whose baby just died. This is good news because then she adopts a kid, names him Tarzan, and he becomes our title character. We get a bit. Like I'd say the first act really is him being a kid and not fitting in because he's a human baby amongst gorillas, and so he doesn't act like them, and it's all so awkward and uncomfortable for him as he's trying to get used to become accepted by the group. Then we get the Son of Man montage where he's learning how to make a spear and learning how to swing through the vines and learning how to scream in the Tarzan voice that I definitely perfectly imitated at the top of the episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Then
practically an opera singer.
Sure, we have the turning point, I think, in the movie, fairly close to the midway, where the leopard that killed Tarzan's parents and the baby gorilla attacks the group again, and Tarzan's the one that kills it using his spear, and then he's almost accepted by the group, and then as that happens, you hear the gunshots of actual humans who are coming to go look for gorillas coming through the jungle. And obviously Tarzan has to go and investigate, and we get the actual main portion of the movie, which is Tarzan and Jane teaching Tarzan how to be a human, basically with the intention of getting him to show them the gorillas. He doesn't, because he has to keep the group safe. But then they're about to leave, and he's like, oh no, maybe if I show you the gorillas, then you'll stay. And so he does that, and it doesn't go very well. And everyone gets, it shows them the gorillas. Gorilla Chief gets angry, scares everyone away. Tarzan decides to leave with the humans to go back to England. And then it turns out that the crew of the ship is a bunch of kidnapper, trapper, scoundrel types who want to hunt the gorillas for sport, basically, and then sell them for money in England. And so then Tarzan and crew have to go and fight off those people and free all the gorillas. And in the process, Kerchak, the gorilla chief, dies. And so Tarzan becomes a chief, and all the good humans that we care about decide to stay in Africa. So, and now Tarzan is now the Lion King. Excuse me, I mean Tarzan's now the Gorilla King.
Good save.
Yeah. Yep. So
no way similar at all.
No way similar at all. It's definitely not a very similar story. But seen through a different lens.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of well, that's kind of not really all to talk about, but just the fact that yeah, that's the basic thing, but kind of sprinkled in between there is was it Rosie O'Donnell making a hip '90s references or something.
And scatting with a bunch of other gorillas and stuff.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, that's the Tantor in the room. That's the elephant character. Watch the movie. Is that this is a this is a what is it Disney musical in air quotes on the podcast once again because there aren't really any songs sung by the characters. There's no in universe singing except for the scatting and the hippin' and the hoppin' and the bippin' and the boppin'. It's
the,
by again Rosie O'Donnell's gorilla character. So I don't know. It is kind of dubious to whether or not this is a musical. I guess.
I mean, what could possibly compare to the musical complexity of dooby dooba dabba dabba dooba dooba dabba dabba dooby doo doo ba da? Like those are the most complex and nuanced lyrics you've ever heard in your life.
Brilliant.
I cried butterfly tears.
Yeah, you say that. I will say, like all of the songs in this movie absolutely slap. Right?
It is true.
I mean, even trashing the camp is a very fun. It's got no substance to it, but it's a very fun bop, right? But all of the music is excellent, even if
Sure.
it isn't
Yeah.
sung by the characters. We can talk about. I don't have a problem with that. Like that doesn't affect my enjoyment of the movie. I think it's great, and it shows you the emotional perspective of the characters, even if they aren't actually singing it themselves.
hmm
Oh yeah, that's the good thing. There is exactly nothing wrong with the music, but it's just sort of like one of those things where if you step back, it's like, huh, I guess they really don't. But what is it? The score, like I said, the score is so good. The
Mm-hmm.
what is it? The songs that are sung by Phil Collins of all people. Yeah, they're pretty good. Didn't didn't one of okay? Well, hold on, I got the page right here. The like the one where like Tarzan's still the baby is like I think that one won an Oscar actually.
You'll be in
You'll
my
be in.
heart.
Yes, that one, that one. So yeah,
That's
I
it
mean,
quite
definitely
possible.
does. It definitely does stand on its well,
huh.
hunch on its four gorilla appendages.
It stands strong on its hunched over gorilla appendages. Good job.
Yes, correct.
You really. I mean, listen. If you don't, if as speaking as a grown adult man, if you don't get a little teary eyed listening to that, like that whole opening, right? Of of the parents like building the house and then they get
Yep.
killed and then the mama gorilla like can't not let the baby go, can't let the baby go, right? And fighting and choosing him even despite what everyone else says. Oh, man, if you don't get a little teary eyed, then you don't have a soul, frankly.
It really did
Yeah.
do a good job of like the this movie in general did a really good job of I suppose adding emotional depth to the story of Tarzan because it's been a while since I've actually looked at the source material or whatnot.
Mm.
But considering it's like at this point nearly 100 years old, I think. I'm pretty sure it was very much. Oh yeah, this boy's been adopted by gorillas, and they're gorillas, so they can't talk. So he's just doing what he do or whatever it is, and it's just like okay, that's cool, I guess. But then it's just like just showing that they are actually a family of gorillas, and like
Mm-hmm.
their interactions and all that is like it's worked out pretty good. I would say this is probably the yeah, what is it? I don't know if we talked about it. It's like, oh yeah, Little Mermaid and Hunchback of Notre Dame, they're way different. Well, I would say this is probably one of the bigger departures from source material, and it's good for it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Well, I also wonder if the original is 100 years old. Like we didn't know a whole lot about gorillas 100 years ago. Like we knew that they existed, and we knew they were apes, but I don't think we knew how much like how complex social because they actually do have very complex social groups. Like real gorillas are actually they don't talk and they don't play scat music in the middle of the jungle. as far as we know. But they do have complex family groups, so it is actually an improvement, I think.
And they do sound like Lance Hendrickson.
Well,
The males,
obviously.
at least. The males, at least.
Obviously.
Yes.
I mean,
Took
what
them
would he...
100 years to learn that, but once they did, they made sure to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting with this one when you compare it to something like Robin Hood. Is I feel like these were names that you knew but didn't really have a face to put it with, and these were sort of introductions for that. If you didn't I mean, you may have read the story, but as far as seeing them on the big screen, this is what how a lot of kids were first introduced to these characters.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I honestly did remember or know that Tarzan was actually a book until in the credit scroll I saw based on the book Tarzan Among the Apes. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
this was a real book? Oh, cool. I thought this was actually an original thing that Disney did for once. So
same as a kid, it's just like, oh yeah, Tarzan. And it's like, that's so cool. And then it's like, oh, turns out it is 100 years old because 1912 novel. They're just like, oh, wow, that's cool. I wonder if the writer is, what is it? Will hold up to today's modern moral standards. Ooh, no, he doesn't. Oof. And then, and all that jazz.
It's almost like
Yeah.
people in the 19 teens had a very different way of looking at the world than we do today.
No, that can't be it. No,
couldn't be it. Wouldn't, not possible.
No.
But yeah, I would say this did shape Tarzan's image for the next. Well, I say the next. For this. Not century, but yeah, maybe all the future stuff is probably going to be somewhat, I don't know, influenced by this because what is it? Afterwards, we've gotten, was it like 3 live action Tarzan movies, and it's like
Yeah, I mean, I feel like maybe I mentioned Robin Hood. It's like I guess Robin Hood's a little different because at least before that you had gotten a sort of live action version with Errol Flynn that was very popular. So at least you had something that maybe people did watch before this. But I don't know if we had any popular Tarzan films or anything before this one came out that I can think of.
Yeah, I don't think so. I just looked it up just to see. It doesn't. I'm not seeing any old. Oh, there's one. The Legend of Tarzan, Lord of the Apes from 1984. That's it. That's the only one I could find that predates this one.
Gotcha.
So. But yeah, it was also shaped. I mean, it shaped. I would suspect that it shaped a generation of people's perception of the jungle. I would say that Tarzan and Jane Goodall with her chimpanzees probably shaped a lot of people's perspective of apes and the jungle and people wanting to go, kids wanting to go live in the, because the reason I say this is because it definitely did for me. I wanted to go live in the Amazon rainforest when I was a kid, which isn't the right forest, but still.
I think maybe I could be wrong. Just part of that goes back to the animation with this film. It's beautifully done, especially seeing Tarzan move and just how he basically surfs on the trees is a sight to behold.
That really is the best. That's in the very end of the montage, right? That's probably one of the best shots of the movie. That's just very cool. I think
best shots plural, right? I think of there's multiple times and all of them are excellent.
Yeah, and this definitely shaped thousands, not millions, of kids to suddenly love Phil Collins.
Yeah.
Because you probably had all of their parents liked Phil Collins. But then kids heard these songs and they're like, just a whole new generation. It was a very brilliant marketing move. I mean, because I'm sure Phil Collins saw Elton John do it with Lion King. He's like, well, I want young fans because I have a bunch of old fans now because they've grown up with me and all that. So I want to be hip. And so here we go. He does this and then Brother Bear a few years later.
Oh, yeah. This is just all right, which superstar needs a shot in the arm?
That's right.
Speaking of the animation, I think this was the first time Disney, they used something called Oh, hang on, I lost my source. I think it was called Deep Canvas. Essentially, it's like the vines were 3D, and then they had a layer of like a hand animated canvas, which is why, you know, was it why it looks so good, I guess. But I think this is the first time they were able to blend those together smoothly, at least for a theatrical film, I think.
Hmm.
Mm.
I mean, I don't notice a difference. I mean, I guess I notice a difference between like things that are in the background, right, as opposed to the actual moving characters. But it flows together very well. It looks beautiful, as we already
Yeah.
Oh
said.
yeah, it's perfect. That's the funny thing.
Yeah.
It's just like, when you think back to the tech level of 1999, it's like just okay,
Mm-hmm.
this took 5 days to render, and it's just a marvel, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know that another 2D animated thing looks that comes after this looks any better. I mean, not like there's not things that look worse, but I don't think there's anything that looks that's any. I don't think there's any improvements that are made in 2D animation after this point. And I'm at least not that I can, not off the top of my head, maybe.
I'm about to say if we go into some post some post Renaissance stuff, it's like I got an argument for one of them that's like, maybe.
Which, what's your movie?
Uh, Treasure Island.
Okay.
Sorry, Treasure
Well,
Planet. Ooh, sorry, that was the
Treasure
original.
Island.
I was
Treasure
going to say
Planet.
the Muppets one.
The Muppets Treasure Island.
The Muppets Treasure
best
Island,
animation
famous
I've
for
ever
its
seen.
2D animation.
All right, we're doing a Muppets Treasure Island episode now.
Okay, sure, let's do it.
Classic.
But
I'll just be talking about Tim Curry for half an hour. That's okay.
But back to Tarzan.
Yes.
We always do favorite songs, and we've already talked about the music.
Mhm.
Which
Favorite song? It's so hard. There's so many good ones, and they fit each scene very well. Like "Son of Man" is a great montage song, seeing him slowly. I'm trying to think. That is the one where he slowly starts getting better and better. Is that the one? I'm trying to think when Son of Man comes in, but whatever it does, it fits perfectly.
Son of Man is the transition. You will transition from boy to man, or you will journey from boy to man. Right? It's the growing up song, and
Yes.
then Strangers Like Me is the learning about humans song.
That's right.
Which is another montage, which works very well.
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's where he's on the big bicycle.
Yep.
I love how the songs perfectly tread the line of they work with the story, but are also vague enough that you can play them on radio, and they're just very introspective and could mean pretty much anything.
Yeah, yeah. Like Son of Man doesn't actually say anything about swinging from vines and learning to throw a spear. It's just like a general you are a child learning how to be an adult growing up, mastering all your skills thing. Which actually, an interesting point. I was thinking about this when I was watching it. It is interesting how in the movie I'm taking things away from songs because we don't actually maybe we don't actually have favorites. But I had the thought that the last thing he does as part of like pure gorilla-ness, right, is he kills the jaguar. Sabor, I think is the name. I don't know. He kills the leopard, right? And it's like he kills the jaguar, and then immediately after doing that, the humans show up. It's like, okay, you've mastered all gorilla things, and immediately the next challenge appears. Which I think that's a very movie tropey kind of way to do things, right? But it works very well.
Sure.
If it works, it works.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's really hard to choose a favorite because Phil just knocks it out of the park with all of these. Each one of these is just such a bop.
Yeah.
You kids and your darn lingo. I honestly I don't mind going with Son of Man as my favorite. I'll lock that one in.
I think True Worlds is an excellent opener.
Yeah.
I love how that sets up the film perfectly, and then it ends with that just like that single drum hit that shows the title Tarzan going right into the film. Just fits very well.
I guess I'll just take Strangers Like Me just to have so we have those big three as our three favorites. But
although You'll Be in My Heart is not one to shy away from either.
That's true. Oh man,
Award-winning song.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's hard. All right, so the consensus is that
it's the Holy Quadrilogy.
It's the.
I don't know. We can acknowledge the merit of the last one without it being a favorite. It's just like, oh, it's won some awards, but it's like,
Yeah.
The others take priority in our hearts.
We just know they're all better than Trash in the Camp.
Yeah. I actually played Trashing the Camp. When I was in high school, our marching band marched in the Disney New Year's parade, and we did a thing with I think all of the high school bands that marched in that parade did a thing with the Disney music people. And one of the things that we did with them was we played Trashing the Camp, which is great because I was a percussionist, and that is a percussion song. That is a percussionist song. Like, you got one person was picked to play the trumpet, and then it's just a bunch of us in the percussion section grabbing random things and hitting them or each other with them.
Nice.
So it's great. Good fun.
Well, I think we better wrap this one up, even though it's, honestly, I can tell we kind of enjoyed this, but let's stick a number to it. All right, out of 10 ratings, as our final entry in the Disney Renaissance, I gotta say this one's a good 7 out of 10 for me. It's got a good nostalgia factor too, but probably without that, it's still a good 6.5. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a. I mean, off the top of my head, from last time I watched it, it's still, I feel like, for the most part, held up. Only problems with it. I mean, the villain was a bit generic. Can't really say he's a stand. He's fine. He's just a Gaston with less charm, really.
Yeah.
So, aside from that, I mean, the side characters are fine. Lead characters are enjoyable enough. Really like Tarzan and Jane's dynamic. I give it a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I will second that. I enjoy this. I don't know why this is. Well, we'll talk about this in future episodes, but this is a good capstone to the Disney Renaissance for me. It's a solid 8 out of 10. Excellent movie. I mean, it follows a lot of the same general plot structure as, say, Hercules or Lion King, or I mean, even Aladdin to a degree, right? It's all kind of similar coming of age, boy coming of age to manhood movies from different perspectives. This isn't the best of those. Obviously, Lion King's the best, but very solid.
All right, very cool, very cool. I'd like to solidify my entry as a 7 because I realize now it's like, forget stigmas. Nostalgia is a good factor when you're rating movies. Forget it. So yeah, 7 out of 10, and well, I suppose this has been our final episode of the Disney Renaissance in Background Bites. We did it, boys. We did it.
Yes, we did.
Very cool.
We did it. We made it.
And let's see. Do we have anything else we'd like to talk about before we head? Oh wait, hold on. There's gorillas in my house. They're trashing it. No, we gotta go. Oh no, I'm going into its bunker now. Look out for the gorillas. Ooh.
Is that how we're ending the episode?
Is that it?
No. Thank you for listening to Background Bites. This has been the Background Noise Crew. Goodbye.